Are you totally different when it comes to sex and copulation? Have you judged yourself out of receiving pleasure? Have you judged yourself into receiving pleasure in certain ways and excluded other ways? Would you like to know more about what else is possible with bodies? Would you like to create confidence in the bedroom and beyond? How has your sex life or lack of it affected other areas of your life? Everyone has the potency to be a sexual superhero. Get ready to listen, sense, and play with the sexualness that is you. Now, here's the host of The Pleasure Zone, pleasure diva and body whisperer, Milica Jelenic.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and I'm very excited about tonight's topic because I have felt in my life that, sex has contributed to healing my body. And I'm also aware that if sex can contribute to healing your body, that can a lack of sex also contribute to a lack of health in your body? Well, not only do I know that, but I actually have scientific studies that will back my awareness, which is, I always love when science backs my awareness. Or do I back science's awareness? I'm not sure. Somewhere, somehow or other, we're all on the same page, I think. So that's kind of fun. So for those of you who are really new to this show, welcome. You might find that we have really off topics on this program, The Pleasure Zone. I do like to talk about pleasure. I do like to talk about bodies and body parts and the intermingling of body parts and all kinds of fun with that. A huge pleasure seeker. I, for a long time in my life, really denied pleasure. I actually took austerities from pleasure, which was pretty frickin' funny, thinking about it. It was a pretty funny time in my life when I was like, no pleasure for me. That's so wrong and terrible. And I did it for a number of years, which was really cute. And I also did it as a form of punishment to the person that I was in relationship with because I really didn't want to be with them. So I refused gifting them pleasure. I refused gifting myself pleasure. And it was hilarious. And I was really sick. My body was really sick. And I was really in pain a lot of the time. And my money flows sucked. It was just like altogether pretty crappy. So I don't recommend it unless you're an experimentalist who really likes self-torture, like apparently I did. Highly don't recommend not allowing yourself pleasure. So what can we do to choose more into pleasure and have more fun than you ever imagined? Well, I'm really excited to explore that today and to kind of give you some more excuses to go out there and have some good times with some lovers, because I'm always looking for the excuses. No, I'm not. I just choose it. But if you need excuses, I'm here for you. So, for a few things you might want to be aware of, too, is that I actually work in my regular day job. I work with bodies. Thoroughly enjoy working with bodies, especially with body movement, energy work, and using scalar technologies like radionics to heal bodies. Those are some of my greatest fun joys to do, along with being a superior asshole. That's one of my other fun things I get to do. And I do say that I am a superior asshole because why not? I love telling people what to do. It actually lights me up and cracks me up. And I've become way more poetic at it in the last few years. I used to be really, really highly stressed about it. I actually suffered from massive amounts of performance anxiety, which is ironic that I even have a radio show talking about such vulnerable subjects as sex and things, masturbation, body parts, and all things like that. I highly suffered from anxiety. I actually went to therapy for years. I had a lot of things going on, not just anxiety, but, depression and all kinds of stuff. And I have to say that a lot of the modalities that I work with now are all things that culminated into assisting my body to have more ease, to choose into more pleasure, and to have way more fun. And one of the things that I do work with is the access bars, and the tools from that have assisted me tremendously, along with a lot of the other work that I do. So what can you choose? And it's not, you don't have to choose the things I've chosen in my life, because the things I've chosen in my life aren't for everyone. And, for you, it might be skydiving. It might be your thrill that gets you out of depression and gets your adrenals going and gets you back on a little bit of a happy zone. You never know what it is. It doesn't have to be my path. So start asking for you what would actually bring you some joy and some pleasure, or even more than some. What would your life be like if you had every day at least 5 minutes more of pleasure, ecstatic, orgasmic, mind-blowing energy moving through your body, whether it's, induced by sex or it's induced by yourself just enjoying life and being really grateful for life. You could be sitting under a tree and have that same experience as you would having sex. But tonight we're actually going to talk about getting down and dirty, because that's, a lot of fun for me, for when I really enjoy talking about it. And sex. Who doesn't? Well, I guess there are a handful of people on the planet who aren't interested in sex, but for the most part, if I say, hey, I have a sex talk radio show called The Pleasure Zone, most people are like, what? That's crazy. And that's, for me, that's one of the most fun ways to shock people, is to tell them that I've got a sex talk radio show and it's fun for me and I love talking about it. So one of the things, that you might find, there are some bonuses that no sex will kind of offer you. And the only one I could come up with is that you'll have a reduced chance of two things. A reduced chance maybe of urinary tract infections that could be prompted by sexually transmitted infections or diseases. That's one. Or, that you won't have sexually transmitted infections or diseases. However, truth be told, when you actually really look at bodies and you look at them from a genetic standpoint and you look at them from an energetic standpoint, we have throughout the ages taken on the STIs and the STDs from so many generations. So in homeopathy, they're referred to as miasms. And miasms, great grandfather Joe might have actually had syphilis back in the day, hanging out in England and, having sex with prostitutes or something, or the royal family. Who knows what Uncle Joe was doing? And he might have carried that syphilis as an actual disease in his body. And he may have actually had children. And those children may not have actually shown syphilis in their body, but what occurs is that it affects your genetics. So in homeopathy, it's referred to as miasms. And you can have things like syphilitic miasms, and a lot of them are actually related to STDs, and leprosy and a few other things, and there are cancer miasms and stuff too, which are actually combinations of a whole bunch of miasms. Fascinating stuff, right? So reduced chances of STIs, even though you may genetically carry that from Uncle Joe from way, way back in the day. So not to worry so much about that, because a lot of STDs and STIs these days are actually quite treatable. Not necessarily curable, like herpes is not curable, but it's treatable. You can put it to sleep and give it a long rest, but you never get rid of it. And some other things as well that, you can clean up an infection, but your body's more susceptible to bringing that on in future. So that's just one thing. No sex equals reduced chance of UTIs and STDs or STIs. Okay, other than that, I cannot figure out what the other bonus is to not having sex is, honestly. So, some of the bonuses to having sex, for one, I'm a big believer in if you don't use it, you lose it. People talk about that with muscles all the time. For example, people who might have back injuries, leg injuries, arm injuries. Say you broke your arm, right? And then what occurs after you've had a break in your body? Well, after your body's bones heal, say, for example, and the casts come off, what do? They send you off to rehabilitation so that your body can start to move again, start to heal again. Why? Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Well, your penis and your vagina also have muscles, guys. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So, what can you do to actually increase the health of your genitals? Because your genitals have health, and sex is one of the greatest ways to exercise those fabulous muscles we have. That, and if you're not interested in actually copulating, you can stimulate them yourself. You can get those muscles going with some internal rubbing for the ladies and some external rubbing for the boys. But hey, guys, while you're at it, rub your prostate. Girls, rub your guys' prostates. Guys, rub your guys' prostates. Why? Because it's good for your health. Honestly, there is a reduced risk for men having prostate cancer if they actually have regular sex. So, all the more reason, call up your lovers and be like, hey, lover, guess what? We need to get it on more often to just ensure that you're not going to end up with prostate cancer. I'm here for you. I'm here for your health. Let's get it on. I don't think a lot of people just use that as a reason, but you can. And stimulating the prostate is also a really great way of getting that prostate health going. So, boys, if you're shy of that, maybe now's the time to consider that having a little prostate rub might actually save your life. Who knew? Prostate rubbing saves your life. Prostate rubbing saves lives, guys. You didn't know that, but now you do. And sex can actually save your life. I mean, if it can reduce the chances of things like prostate cancer, well, that's a lifesaver right there. So I highly, highly encourage you to go up there and get it on. So what else? I actually did look this up because I'm crazy like that, and I love research on sex. I really didn't like research at all in school for any other topic other than give me a topic about sex and history and sex and sociology and sex and this and sex and I'll go research. But if you ask me to go research something else, I'd probably walk away. So what else? What else does sex do for you? I know for me, it's kind of an ongoing joke in our house that Mike, my lover husband, he will, if I'm having a crabby mood, he'll go, are you tired, hungry, or horny? Usually it's all three. So first, I'll get the food, I'll get the sex, and then I'll go to sleep, and I'm just like a brand new person after like a 20-minute nap, a 20-minute screw, and like a snack, and I'm good to go. So what does that do? So actually, it's not just about the sex, but it is about touch from other people. And sex, generally, you have something touching, even if you're only touching your crotches together and somehow you manage to pull off some Kama Sutra moves where no other parts of your body except for your genitals are touching. Doesn't matter. You're still having human contact, which can really assist your body in having a sense. There's different hormones and different things that get released in your body when you actually have touch that's kind. Your body starts to relax and starts to have ease. And they use that as they just like actually proof about touch actually creating ease in bodies. It's why so many touch therapies are so popular these days. People are getting more aware of that. So that's a pretty cool thing to be aware of, and you can actually see bodies respond to touch really fast. It's the energy, it's the actual physical connection. And so sex is going to create that same physical connection and all those fabulous releases in the body where your body will start to relax. So isn't that a sweet thing? Oh, no, I don't need to meditate. Let's have sex. Woo! I'm a fan of sex, and I find that it's easier for me to actually say, like, not focus, but I'm not a fan of focusing, but relax my mind, get in the groove, be aware of my body. Sex is an amazing tool for me for that. So if you didn't consider sex a tool, maybe after this call you'll get how much of a tool copulation and sex actually are, a tool for creating more ease in your body and your life. A lot of people just think of it as, oh, it's an act, it's this, it's that. It's not just exercise, guys. It's actually a tool for your life. We're actually going to head to break, and when we come back, we're going to talk way more about sex and no sex and how all of that affects your body after this break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight we are talking about stopping sex. Have you stopped having sex? What has that done for your body? Have you noticed that it's done anything to your body? Well, one of the fun things that I did notice in one of my researches is that there was a little write-up about anxiety and anxiousness, and so which kind of correlates to relaxation, but not totally. So as much as sex does help people blow off steam, there's more to it. So Scottish researchers, and if any of you ever watched Saturday Night Live, you'll know that if it's not Scottish, it's crap. Then you might have also found out that people who abstained, because this is Scottish research, that they found that people who abstained from sex struggled to cope with stressful situations like public speaking, compared to those who had intercourse at least once or twice a week. So pretty cool, huh? So during sex, the brain releases feel-good chemicals such as endorphins and oxytocin, which help you feel more at ease. So if you're not having sex with a partner, there's no reason to not take matters into your own hands, my friends. And there are so many fun ways that you can do that. So if you are taking matters into your own hands and you would like to actually know about more fun with that, I actually sell sex toys, because why not? So you can check out pureromance.ca if you're in Canada, /Milica Jelenic, or if you're in the US, pureromance.com/Milica Jelenic, and you'll find lots of fun toys on there that you can purchase. There are like underwater vibrators, multiple speeds. You can plug them in just like you plug in your cell phone. No batteries required. Super fun toys, and I just got a flexible one, which I'm so stoked to like go show off at a party on Thursday. And I'm just like, it's very fun and flexible and easy to move. Oh, so excited for new toys. So if you are not having a partner, you can actually just get yourself some toys. Yes, and just in time for Christmas, and all of them do fit into stockings, so perfect stocking stuffers, along with little lubes and all kinds of other fun things that you can find on those pure romance sites. You'll find them too on the information on my page on here on Inspired Choices Network. So it's fun. It's fun stuff. You should see the collection I've got. I just love having them. It's not even that I use them totally often. I like to scare my husband by bringing out random sex toys, and he's like, "Wow, what do I do with that?" He's a very hands-on kind of guy. He's actually a carpenter / contractor, and he definitely prefers hands-on rather than toys-on, which is totally cool. But it's fun to have a whole stash of toys just in case, wandering around my house. Anyway, so definitely if you'd like to blow off some steam, just blow yourself off if you can stretch that way, or if you have a friend who will blow off some steam for you. That's what friends are for. So it can actually reduce anxiety. It can actually help with your public speaking. Did you even consider that? Sex could assist you with public speaking. Have fear of public speaking? Go have more sex. Have fear with public speaking? Go get a blowjob. You know what? It's just amazing. So for all of us out there like me who had performance anxiety, and quite truthfully at the time I was doing the abstinence thing, so it's quite funny that there's that correlation that they're showing. Probably if I was getting it on more often, I'd have a little more confidence or a little less anxiety. It's just amazing. So cool. So for those of you out there who would like better public speaking, I got friends I can hook you up with. My friends are valuable, so I am charging for their sex, whether they want that or not. One of them is my producer who's producing tonight, and she doesn't even know that I'm pimping her out, but I'm going to pimp her out. And the CEO of the company, whether she likes me pimping her out or not, it's for the betterment of the country. So, and for all people, it's for humanity, guys. We're doing it for the world so that we have more public speakers. More people joining us here on the radio is what I'm really looking forward to, is more shows. And if that means that we've got to give it up for the man or the woman and just get it on so people can be more interested in public speaking, that's cool. Also, my other friend who's in the chat room, I'm willing to pimp him out too, to the ladies and boys out there who would prefer men. So lots of people I'm willing to pimp out to you guys if you'd like to be better public speakers. So just contact me. I'll hook you up. So, and I'm actually serious. So there you go. So also, here's another one that I wasn't aware of consciously, but it makes so much sense to me, is that it actually increases your immune system. So when you come into contact with other people's germs, you actually start to build an immunity, which is the fundamental basis of things like flu shots. Is like they're basically injecting you with a virus so that your body builds an immunity to that virus. So I say, X-nay on the shots, have more sex. I'm just going to have more sex, and, maybe I'll catch more different germs from, maybe if I catch more germs from different people, I'm going to actually have a talk with my husband about this, because maybe if he gets that if I catch more germs from more people, I'm going to live longer and healthier. And it's just, it's just for him to have a healthier, happier wife, and that he won't have to look after a sick old lady at some point. Not that he'd have to, but if I have sex with more people, I have less disease, possibly, build up the immune system. I don't know. I'm going to work on that theory and see if he buys it. I don't think he will, but we can definitely find out. So less chance of cold infections, because guess what? You're catching a little disease here and there, building up the immune system. Right on. Unless, of course, you have a completely compromised immune system. In that case, it might kill you. But if your system isn't completely compromised, it might actually make you a little bit healthier. Isn't that fun? So that actually came from research at Wilkes-Barre University in Pennsylvania. They found that people who had sex once or twice a week enjoyed a 30% boost in immunoglobulin A, which short form is IgA, compared with those who had sex seldom or never. IgA is one of the body's first lines of defense against viruses. the author says. So, have more sex, have less viruses. Unless, of course, they're STIs or STDs. There you go. Next, fun stuff. Insecurities about your relationship could start creeping in. So, that's not good, right? So not having sex takes a toll on your happiness, closeness, and relationship security. I have to say that's true. I actually lived with somebody for about 4 years in my mid-20s, and he was a bit of a porn star, rock star kind of guy. Actually, he was a musician, and he was hung like a porn star. So that's just why I'm calling him a porn star, rock star. And at the time, for about the first year and a half, we had the whole honeymoon phase where it was very much like fucking like rabbits, like 24/7 for literally hours at a time. And then by year 4, I think we had sex 3 or 4 times in that whole year. And I was getting really freaked out. And, at the time I was still going to therapy as well. I'd been going to therapy, was in therapy. And I was really down about it. My self-esteem shot really low. I was feeling crappy about myself. I was feeling crappy about everything. And I was trying to get that across to him that it's like I need sex. I actually need sex. I actually require it. I think I just said I need it because I didn't use the word require so much. I was like, I need it. It's almost like if I don't have this, I get depressed and I get upset and I feel crappy about myself. And then I was, of course, doing the whole, you don't love me because you're not having sex with me, and you don't find me attractive. But because we had sex so much 3 years ago, I know you can have that much sex. So if you're not having it with me, you must be having it with somebody else. And he was very addicted to porn in that last year. So he was having it with himself, to pornography. I was missing out on the porn star penis. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, kids. So what else is possible, right? So I know personally from my own life that the lack of sex can also affect your self-esteem in a big way. And yeah, it can actually give insecurities in the relationship, but when it really comes down to it, it can spark a lot of insecurities in your own self, or bring up those issues in your own self. If you've had things like abandonment in your life, which I, was big on the abandonment issues, and if you've had, anything where you feel rejected or any of that, like, it can really trigger a lot of issues. So if that is coming up in your life, if a lack of sex is creeping in, before it goes extreme, definitely bring it up. Have conversations about it. Let the person that you're with be aware of what's going on with you, because, as much as they might not want to admit it, the whole dynamic can really, if you actually start to choose to have sex, the whole dynamic can actually create something greater. And if you choose not to, it can actually rip it apart. And if they don't believe it, they can actually check out some of the information on that. There's a quote here: going without sex in a marriage can deliver a hit to your self-esteem, engender guilt, and decrease levels of oxytocin and other bonding hormones. That's from Les Parrott, Parrott. He's a PhD, a psychologist, and author of Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. He also says it can increase fears that one of you will look to others for sexual needs, which can breed a little paranoia. However, Parrott points out that this doesn't mean a sexless couple can't be happy. Sex is just one of the expressions of intimacy for couples. He says, kissing, hand-holding, and giving compliments or unexpected gifts can also help you feel connected with your partner emotionally. So even if you're not spending time connecting physically, there are so many other ways you can also connect, which are key. So it's the connection, and a lot of people put physical connection, the body parts together, as the way we actually connect with each other. And it's not the only way, right? So just, what is it for you and your partner? For some people, it might be the spending time together, or, if you refer to the book, the guy wrote about the 4 languages of love. For some people, it's kind words. For some people, it's acts of kindness. For some people, it's like spending time together or physical touch. So there's a few of them. I actually never personally read the book, but I know a lot of people love it. So I'll just refer to it right there. So, my friends, we're going to actually head off to break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about more reasons to have sex so that we can be healthier, because we always like to have more reasons, right after this break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
What if there's nothing wrong with you? What if you're far greater than you've ever given yourself credit for? What if it's time to know the gift and the contribution you are to the world and to like yourself a lot more? Hi, my name is Dane here. 13 years ago, I started to truly ask questions. Actually, I started to be the question, and everything changed for me. Asking questions opens doors to infinite possibilities. And it's not about finding the answer. It's about being the question. Always. What I'm inviting you to step into is something that Einstein, Marie Curie, Newton, Da Vinci, Gandhi, Picasso, and Aristotle all knew to be true. What if no question is too big or too small? What if anything is possible for you? What if together we could create a kinder, gentler, happier world? Is now the time? Go to beingyouclass.com and sign up for a free video series, My Gift to You. beingyouclass.com. What if you, truly being you, are the gift and change this world requires? beingyouclass.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone. I'm your host, Milica Jelenic, and tonight we're talking about all the more reasons to have sex because, hey, did you actually know that a lack of sex can affect your health? Yes, my friends, and I'm looking out for your health. So, if I can find any more reasons for you to be healthier and happier, I will bring them to you, and tonight I've got reasons for you. So we did talk a little bit about, kind of tapped on the idea of if you don't use it, you lose it. And one of the things that does come up, but this is funny, because it actually has to do with erectile dysfunction. So the risk of erectile dysfunction increases or goes up the less you have sex. So if you'd actually like your penis to go up, increase your sex drive. If you'd like the chances of erectile dysfunction to go up, decrease your sex. Just as simple as that. So there you go. And how much fun can it just be to just make up even more reasons to have sex, right? Like, let's just find out what that's like. And that actually, there was an article in the American Journal of Medicine that suggests that, so if you need proof, boys out there, that you require having more sex with your partner so that your penis will be healthy and happy, and not only that, reduce the risk of having prostate cancer. Check that out in the American Journal of Medicine. I'm not sure which section to find that under, but I'm sure you'll find it, because when you really want something, you will find it. So also for women as well, entering menopause, so not having any vaginal penetration, I was going to say vaginal pagination, but I don't even know what that was going to mean. So we're going with vaginal penetration instead of the other thing. It can also be a use it or lose it kind of thing. So without frequent intercourse, you actually can get the walls of your vagina can actually thin out, and sex can become quite painful. So there was another article I'd read at some point as well that talked about if you've started having sex, then your body actually almost requires having that, because it then knows that there's the oxytocin and all these other happy go feel good things can be released. But if you've never had it, apparently it doesn't affect you the same way. I'll see if I can find that article for you guys. I think I put it somewhere on the Pleasure Zone page on Facebook, and it's a pretty cool article. If I haven't put it out there, it means I saved it somewhere because I found it fascinating. And again, any reason to definitely have more sex is great for me. I'll choose that. So if you for women, especially if you are feeling like, oh, I'm getting older, and some women just have decided, whether it's like their husbands have died or their lovers have died, or they're feeling like, well, I'm over 60, I hit menopause, forget about it. You can have sex your whole life. There's no reason you can't. Just, keep on going. And if you are running out of, your natural lubrication, you are born at an amazing time in history. There are so many amazing lubes out there that are gentle on the body. Some of the old ones like Astroglide weren't so great. They actually had a bunch of stuff in them that was not so healthy for bodies, but you can get water-based lubes that are really safe and gentle. You can find those on the Pure Romance site of mine as well. So lube it up, ladies, so you don't have to lose that, and keep your body happy and playful, because that is another thing that they do talk about, is that for older women, the vagina can also have a hard time getting lubricated. I've heard people talk about this a lot, but I also know women who are in their 60s and 70s who, if you say that to them, they're like, yeah, whatever, that's crap. Why? Because they didn't buy that point of view, for one, and also because they probably are exercising their vaginas. You can exercise your vagina walls in so many ways. You can be doing Kegel exercises if you like. That's more of a thing with the pelvic floor, and it also helps prevention of having bladder flow for no particular reason, or just like peeing for no reason. Your body just kind of has no control. So Kegel exercises are great for that. There's also a woman named Saida Desilets, and she has the jade egg, and she approaches the whole pelvic health from a different perspective. Her method is a lot gentler than Kegel. So if Kegel doesn't work for you, try Saida. She's really amazing. You can find information on her on the jade egg. I have one of her jade eggs, and it's fabulous. And so it's a great way to maintain vaginal muscles and health, and also just keeping yourself from peeing yourself. That sounds good to me too. I really don't want to be like an older woman wearing diapers, so I'd rather just have a nice, healthy pelvic floor, yeehaw, that can take on any sex ever in my life. I think having a vagina that could shoot out, ping pong balls when I'm 60 would be just so cool. I might be the oldest stripper going, but it would just be thrilling to be able to be up on stage and shoot ping pong balls out at people and have a nice, strong vagina, and probably join a vagina wrestling team or something, because those exist or not. But they could. I know there's a woman who does lift weight with her vagina, and so she's got a strong pelvic muscle, and I bet she's nicely lubricated, because actually as you kind of as you tighten and squeeze and release those muscles, your vag does get lubricated. That's the beauty of it. So go for it. Get that all lubricated. They claim it lessens with age because of hormones, but hey, anything is possible. Keep those muscles going. One of the ones that I'm also aware of, which I found a blessing, a total blessing, was When I met Mike, I'd been asking a bunch of questions of my body about menstrual cramps, and I was having pretty debilitating menstrual cramps. I've done several things, and there have been some things that have alleviated it. And one of the ones that I found helped the most was actually finding a partner who is kind in bed, and somebody who would actually be willing to be kind to my body. So for me, for the first time in my life, my lover, partner, husband was the first man who was actually willing to have sex with me while I was on my period, and it actually, I went from having like really bad cramps to like no cramps at all. Like instantaneously. It was such an amazing relief. Sometimes those cramps are actually just like super tightened up muscles internally. They can also be from, sometimes it's a bowel thing as well, where your bowels get all constricted, like lack of fluid. So drinking more water can also help with menstrual cramps, but having some great sex too. So if a man's not afraid of getting his sword bloody, that is a pretty fun way to alleviate some menstrual cramps. Or even if your girlfriend is not afraid of getting her fingers bloody, whoever your partner is or you're choosing, or even if it's you, then you have sex toys that you can use. That is an amazing gift too. I actually wasn't aware that sex or penetration would have assisted me as much as it did at the time, or I probably would have been using all kinds of sex toys during my period just to alleviate the stress my body was having. So go for it, kids. Try out whatever works for you, because it can be a lot of fun just experimenting with different things to allow your body to have way more ease and health. Yay, health. So this is one of my favorite points that came up, is that actually having sex might make you smarter. Well, we don't know this for sure, but there were studies that were done on rodents, and we know how accurate those are, in the University of Maryland, and also one in South Korea, that found that having sex improved the brain function and the growth of brain cells in rodents. But there is more research required. So for now, just for fun, I'm going to say that sex makes me smart, just like chocolate cake does. And also a few other things make me smart as well. Like really great juice makes me smart. And for me, that would be different every day. It's just like a flavor that would have to like show up in my life. Mojitos make me smart. And there are some other foods, but mainly chocolate cake and sex make me smart. So what about you? What makes you smart? I'm just curious. Maybe you've got something else that makes you smart. So I'm also interested in how these things will reflect in other areas of our lives, right? So for example, if you're having more ease in your body, what can you do? So wow, your body's happier, it's having an easier time with movement, or it's more relaxed. So now what? How does that ripple effect out to the rest of your life? When you look at it, the chances are it's going to ripple effect your relationships. Why? You're probably going to feel more connected. So you feel more connected, you feel less crabby. You might feel less crabby because your body's more relaxed. You might actually enjoy your partner more. You might enjoy your relationship more. You might find that you're not angry at them, or you're not frustrated. A lot of people get frustrated, but ultimately they're quite sexually frustrated. And just having some sex can actually really relieve a lot of that frustration. So I dare you to go out and find more reasons to improve your life with sex, because I bet that I haven't found all of the reasons. I bet there are way more out there that not only I could come up with, but you could come up with. And, when you have more ease in your body and you're having more ease and you're walking around and your relationships are better, and then you're not stressed about that, how much easier is it to go out and create your life, whether you have your own business or you work for somebody? Chances are you're going to show up at work on time. You're going to be productive during the day. If you work for yourself, the chances are you're going to feel pretty motivated to do whatever it is that you do. Why? because your body feels good, your body feels happy, it's at ease, it's relaxed. You've just increased your vitality by having your immune system strengthened. Great. So now you have less days off being sick, and you can get more production done, whether you own your own business or you're working elsewhere. So many great reasons to have more fabulously great sex, and even just to start having any sex or masturbation would be fabulous. We're going to talk a little bit more about the other areas that it can have greater times with if we actually chose more sex when we come back from this commercial break.
Many of us have created a lot of limitations around sex and what we are willing to choose. What else is possible beyond what we have already seen, heard, or thought of? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual revolution, taking the taboo out of all aspects of sex, sexuality, and copulation by tuning in to the Pleasure Zone radio show with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. You'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How long have you been waiting to uncloak your magic? To allow the magic within you to rise and catalyze into an extraordinary life deep down you know is possible. Live Your Magic is a 2.5-day experience that will move you beyond your mind, ignite your body, and activate the magic that is you. If you are ready to radically tap into your desires, generate more aliveness in your body and your life, then join us at a Live Your Magic event somewhere in the world. Go to megansillito.com and click on events to learn more today. That's MEGANSILLITO.
This is the Pleasure Zone with body whisperer Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. Call 815-880-8255. That's TALK. Or Canada, 613-800-8736. Or you can Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email at milicajelenic.com. Now back to the program.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleasure Zone, my fun little pleasure seekers. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about something that I've got coming up. For those of you who were here at the top of the hour, you might have heard me talk about how fun it is for me to be a superior asshole. And I've got a series for an entire year of weekly me. I think you'd have to be both crazy and excited to choose this. And thank you for those of you who are both crazy and excited for choosing this. 1 year, you're going to get a weekly, it's going to be a call on Facebook. There's going to be a private group that you can come on to where you can get readings weekly from me. So there'll be a live 1-hour call. You'll be able to call in. I'll give everybody advance warning. You'll be able to join in, ask questions. I'll be doing readings. And if you can't make it live, I'm going to also do a general reading for the group that can't make it live. So that'll be once a week for about an hour. And that'll be starting up shortly, probably in December, in case anybody's listening to this far into the future. So that's December of 2017. But it might be something that just keeps on going. So it's going to be 1 year for $97 Canadian, which is like 13 cents American. So really fun for me, and I really love doing readings and being a superior asshole, and I'd love to tell you what to do if you're interested in being told what to do. So find me there. You can also message me here on the station at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com, and you can find me on Facebook, Milica Jelenic. I'm the cute one. You can find the Pleasure Zone on Facebook as well, and you can find me on Instagram at Magical Milica. So many ways to find me. You can also find me on my website, milicajelenic.com, and message me there. Add yourself to my mailing list, and you'll get a mail out about the upcoming $97 extravaganza. And I just think this is a fun way to do it. I haven't done the yearly readings this way before. I used to do them some other ways, and I just thought it would be way more fun for me to just do 1 hour a week for a year and see what I can tell you to do that might change your life. So fun. So again, that's 97 Canadian, which is God knows what American, maybe 70, but it could be 13 cents by the time you hear this. We'll find out. But 97 Canadian, and that's for a year of me on a fun call weekly. So that about that. And what other ways can we have fun, like having more sex? How does that improve our life? Well, we know what lack of sex will do. It can cut off this and cut off that, and penis might fall off too because the erectile dysfunction and all that jazz. I don't think it'll create gangrene of the penis, which is good news. And last night I had a discussion with my husband about the fact the chances of having frostbite in your penis are pretty slim too, because if you actually do get frostbite, then you usually put your cold body parts, like your fingertips or toes, into somebody's crotch or armpit. So I'd had this discussion because he's got a job to do outside next week, and I was concerned that he might get a frostbitten penis, but he assured me that we're going to be all good and he won't lose it. So then that's what kind of sparked this show, and I thought, shit, what would my life be like without sex? Because I really was not having a fun life before I met him. So now I'm having way more fun, and my money inflows have increased, and so many other things. And I'm just like inviting more pleasure in my life into so many other areas. And so, which was not part of my reality before. So it's pretty fun for me to invite more of that into my life, to the point where now that I am choosing sex more regularly, I'm finding that, yes, I am having more ease with public speaking. So if you are, thinking that you'd like to do public speaking, if you're a teacher, if you are somebody who is a celebrity and you're like not having sex, I don't know how that's possible, but it's possible, and you'd like to change that, maybe now's the time to start choosing more sex so that you can actually feel more confident. If you're working in an environment where you do a lot of presentations for your work, and you might find that presentations have been tricky for you, give yourself a good whack job before, not whack as in kill yourself, but, give yourself a good stroke off before you go into that meeting. Maybe wash your hands first too, and then you might find that you'll just be able to speak more in front of people. Maybe you have time for a quickie before you go on and do your public speaking. You never know. Sometimes right before this show, I just have a nice quickie, and then I get on and I'm all inspired and I talk forever. That didn't happen tonight, kids, but on occasion it does. I'm just letting you know. Because why? Because it's known in our house that I could be crabby from a lack of sex, and you could be too. And if you are finding that you're unreasonably more crabby than usual, maybe now's the time to get yourself a nice toy or a vibrator. Get that in your stocking for Christmas. Give it to yourself. Ask Santa for one. Heck, I'm going to ask Santa for a whole bunch of fun stuff this Christmas. Why not? I dare you to. Tell you a story about my daughter about that, but I've only got a minute left. But you can ask Santa for anything, especially things if you've been asking the universe for and they're not showing up, maybe now's the time to ask Santa, even if you're a grown-up, guys. So if that includes pleasure or money or anything, heck, if you're willing to put it out there and ask anybody and everybody for anything, why not include that too? Because, we're coming up to the season of asking for all kinds of things. Pleasure is part of it, and that can also improve your health, your money inflows, and so many more things. I really want to say thank you to all of you people for joining me tonight live in the chat room, hanging out, chatting. Thank you so much for being part of this show, and please join me for my insights from a superior asshole call. I'd really love to have you guys on that for the year, and I can see your faces.
Thank you for choosing to listen to The Pleasure Zone. Milica Jelenic will return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.